My name is Bruce, and I'm the landlord of this block of flats. My tenants are bugging me all day and night, and that old man on the first floor is 3 weeks behind on rent. This morning I went round to ask him where my money was, but he didn't answer the door. He was probably asleep or something. Them teenagers keep blasting death metal, and it's really annoying me whilst I'm trying to watch my Gogglebox. Usually the old man tells them to knock it off, but he's been quiet recently.
My day's been awful. I thought my situation couldn't get any worse. I fell up with my friends last week, and now they've turned most of the school against me. No one talked to me today. My friends couldn't even look at me. I'd like to say I didn't miss them, but I'd be lying. We were meant to go to the cinema this weekend, me and my friends. Suppose all I'll be doing now is blasting Harry Styles on repeat and feeling sorry for myself, and then go and collect the shopping order from downstairs. This flat is tiny, and I don't have much space for myself, but we live in the top floor, so the only good thing is the views of the city.
My day started off badly, as I got a message from my mum saying I couldn't come home due to COVID. I was homesick and spent hours anxious. Then I got a new job to help pay the bills for the miserable landlord. I moved to the city of my dream, university, after months of revising for those important grades. I was meant to move in with my grandma, who has lived there for her whole life. However, she didn't have the space. I had tried to get a job, but due to my confidence issues, I've been rejected every time. I can barely afford food, so my friend offered me to live with her. This weekend I spent to plan my Christmas at the local ice rink with Gabby, my roommate, and to treat ourselves to a delicious hot chocolate. It really helps me to escape reality these days. Everything got so hectic so quick, and I'm struggling to cope. The flat is so outdated with patterned furniture that doesn't match, and creaky sinks that barely supply us with water. The beds are uncomfortable and stiff, and the wall is covered in mould, but it's all I could afford for the time being. However, I'm grateful I have warmth and shelter unlike some people this winter. It gives me a vintage feel though, so I'm glad I live there.
Christmas is supposed to be a happy time, seeing twinkly lights in the street, listening to carols, but now I see and hear less of the festive season. I find myself buried under pressure of an oncoming reality I'm not ready to face yet. I just want to be a 6-year-old again, a little girl who loved catching snowflakes, if only. I'm going shopping with my mum on Saturday to take my mind off exams, she said. It would be nice to relax, eat gingerbread and drink some hot chocolate, all whilst laughing at the poorly chosen Christmas-themed products that probably won't reach the end of the Christmas period. I live with my parents in a flat on the ground floor. It's not terribly small, but the taps often break, so we don't always get hot water when we want it.
My name's Bob. My parents decided to live here temporarily, but I think it's going to be permanent. Bruce is the landlord, but he doesn't like me ever since he caught me stealing milk from his doorstep a couple of months ago. I really want a fire truck this year, but Mum says I won't be able to get one because of COVID. There's a really old man that lives near us, but it's odd. He hasn't been screaming at us lately. I wonder where he is. Me and Dad are going to Morrison's later, but we don't have to wear masks indoors. I don't want to. Other people have been going to school, but I got expelled. I have to say, school's better than this ugly place. But Gerald's a big meanie. He shouts at me every day and says that I'm a stupid little boy. He's so mean to everyone. I hate him. But for some reason, he hasn't been bothering anyone lately. His milk bottle's piled up by his door, and he hasn't called me any names. I do hate him, but it feels odd without him. I think I might actually miss him.
Time off school, finally. Well, that's not good in this sickly flat. Although I can do what I want. Although this Christmas won't be as good, as Mum is a bit low on money. But we'll still have a good time. We spent most of our money trying to fix the water which Bruce couldn't be bothered to fix before we bought this flat. This weekend is going to be as usual because I'm meeting up with my mates. And we might not be able to meet up with them all. I'll have to see what's on the news.
This weekend I'm planning on going to Tesco to try and get myself some new baked beans. A new TV show is coming out on Saturday and I plan to eat them then. My part of the flat is bigger than the others, but equally as dingy and unfurnished, and technically I could do whatever I want to the room since I own the building, but to be honest, I can't be bothered. Maybe I would be able to afford it if those idiots paid their rent.
Before lockdown, we could be nice to the old man. What's his name again? Ah, Gerald. He was a bit grumpy, but he gave me 10 when I went to Morrison's to get his shopping. Everyone sees him as a grumpy man, but he's a bit grumpy as he's lonely.
Before lockdown, life was basically the same for me, sitting at home, eating baked beans and watching TV. Now it's basically the same, but I have to yell at my tenants over Zoom call. Once I caught that little kid stealing milk off the old man's doorstep. After I chased him off, I noticed that there was loads of the stuff piled up like nobody had left their house in days. I knocked on the door, but he didn't answer. He was probably napping, I hope.
My weekend was great and it really helped my mood, but on my way home, I realised Gerald's flat had seemed empty. I noticed it a few times, but I thought he went on holiday. But with the current restrictions, I'm beginning to be quite concerned. The lights are off when usually rays of light usually pass through the windows of his living room while he watches Country File and Tipping Point. The mail is overflowing with bills and junk. What do? Do I call for help?
My mum made me go get the food delivery from downstairs. Suppose I had nothing else to do. I was about to take it all upstairs when the delivery man asked if Gerald was about. He had his shopping order. I think he meant the old man at the bottom of the flat. I've never spoken to him, really. Only ever walked past him. I'd knocked on his door to see if he was in. There was no reply. All I saw was a load of newspapers stacked up outside. Thinking about it, I hadn't seen him for a while. I hope he's okay.
I see flashing lights outside the building. An ambulance? For who? Maybe I should go help. Oh my god, it's that old man on a stretcher. I mean, I knew he was old, but this is awful. It makes me feel sorry for him. I wish I was nicer to him.
Today was certainly one I won't forget. The old man from upstairs was taken to the hospital. I only heard parts of what had happened. He'd fallen because he hadn't eaten. I felt awful for not trying to make friends with him. I felt like I could have helped. Gerald came out of hospital today. And you know something? We've all given Gerald a hard time. And he's sure he's a bit grumpy, but that doesn't mean we can't try and change that. I know it'll take some convincing with this grumpy lot, but I think with a little convincing we can give Gerald the best Christmas ever. Wait, I've got an idea.
I'd heard that Gerald was out of the hospital, so I'd gone to see how he was. I just knocked on and introduced myself, standing 2 meters apart, of course, and we just talked for a bit. I asked him how he was, and he was fine. There wasn't much else to talk about, what with COVID, but it was nice. I think we both need the company at the moment.
I work with lots of lonely people like Gerald on a daily basis as a mental health trainee, and I don't know why everyone doesn't get along with him. A few months ago, he saw me struggling with the food shopping and asked for help. I could tell he was tired from carrying the heavy bags, but he still helped me. He lives on his own, and he's probably just used to saying what he wants.
One of our neighbours had an amazing idea to host Gerald a Christmas dinner. We're not sure of all the details with bubbles and that. This is going to be amazing for Gerald and everyone's happiness, and this will be the best Christmas ever.
I need some more carrots.
I've got one.
I've got carrot.
Thank you.
I've got one too.
Thanks.
I also have a carrot.
Any will do.
Here you go.
Thanks, mate.
I'm doing roasties. Who's got potatoes?
I've got a potato. Here you go.
I've got.
Thank you.
Here you go.
Thank you.
I'm making gravy.
I've got some bestowed.
Thank you.
I don't have gravy, but I have stock cubes.
I'll add to the flavour. Thank you.
Star of night, star with royal beauty bright, westwards leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
Lockdown has been lonely, and it's taught me that being lonely isn't nice. Being off school for seven months isn't enjoyable either. But this has definitely made me spend more time. This has definitely made me want to spend more time with Gerald, as it's not nice to be as lonely as him.
Lockdown's been fun, but I've learnt not to take anything for granted, because one day it could all go away. We're all stuck inside for so long. Maybe I should spend some more time outdoors. I could build dens and throw sticks at people who walk past.
I've loved working from home this year. I get to watch TV series all day and social distancing is the best. I don't even need to shower anymore because nobody gets close enough to smell me. Although, don't tell anyone because they'll think I'm a wuss, but I miss my mum. She's so nice and I love her so much and I'm worried about her during lockdown. Don't tell anyone or I'll beat you up.
The draining lockdown has ended, but I still feel sceptical about what the definition of normality will be. However, I managed to take time for self-care and relaxing, away from all the stress of teenage life. I've learned not to take the small things for granted, such as visiting my grandparents every other weekend and going to the cinema and laughing with my friends. I hope things remain calm and that people have managed to cope with such a big change.
Lockdown has definitely been tough, but it taught me something important. We need to check on those around us because we never know if they need help. It's always good to reach out, even if it's just for a chat.
Lockdown has been okay, I guess. If anything, it's made me really think about how precious time is. I've missed my family so much, and I'm so glad I can see them again. Lockdown has made me realise how I took a lot of things for granted, and now I see how lucky I am, even if things aren't always perfect. So even though lockdown's been boring, it's taught me a lot.
Well, lockdown is over. I'm not sure how I feel, to be honest. I've changed recently. What with Gerald going to the hospital and me being separated from my mum, I've learnt to realise what's important in life. Not beans and gogglebox, but friends and family. Well, no matter what life outside the apartment will bring, I am sure glad to delete Zoom from my laptop.